You know why your art looks just like everyone else's? Just the same old generic designs over and over and over again? It's because you're looking at the same thing as everyone else. Spider-Verse, K-pop Demon Hunters, Blade Runner. There's no output without input. Look, we all know how important using reference is, but the quality of your input matters a lot. Now, if you're looking at the same things as everyone else, are you gonna make stuff that looks like everyone else's? But if you're looking at stuff that nobody else is looking at, well, you're gonna make stuff that looks like no one else. Look, I'm not trying to convince you that using reference is important for making art, because you already know that you need reference to make art. But not all reference is made equal. Some are more equal than others. Look, we all know the usual go-to websites for looking for reference: Google Images, Pinterest. Today we shall use 7 underrated websites to look for references, because getting good, high-quality reference can be what sets you apart from everyone else.
Now, most of us think of going to museums in person for reference, which is amazing, but do you know that many museums around the world have their collections fully online? Museums like the Metropolitan Museum of Art and the British Museum have catalogues of their collections online, meaning you can have access to high quality, properly documented images of these incredible historical artifacts. And because they're museums, everything is properly categorized, so you can sort by medium, by era, by location. Say you have a character design inspired by Celtic folklore, or just go to one of these sites and look up their Celtic collection, and you have references for clothing, jewelry, armor, materials, and color schemes. So this stuff is like a cheat code, because regardless of how fantastical your ideas may be, you always want to root your design to something in the real world, some sort of historical accuracy, especially if it's like fantasy, like medieval fantasy. So you can just take this stuff for free, and you can just take it and use it one for one, and your stuff will automatically just look way better. And because of the depth of the collection that these museums have, you can look for really esoteric stuff, some obscure historical era that no one's really looking at. Because let's be honest, we're all kind of looking at the same kind of references: middle-aged knights, samurai armor, Vikings, the same stuff. So if you can reference your stuff based off things that are a little bit off the beaten path, your things will look just a little bit more special.
Another great learning resource is the sponsor of today's video, Mondly. Back to school season is here, and whether you're a student, a globetrotter, or someone who's just looking to learn a new language, boy do I have good news for you. Mondly is the premier language learning app. It's here to help you level up your language skills. And right now, they've got a back to school sale. Not just for you, Mondly is offering 65% off lifetime access to all languages at mondly.app/chromamoma. Mondly has 125 million downloads worldwide and is one of the top 5 language learning apps. So whether you're trying to learn Spanish or French or even Bengali or Bulgarian, Mondly has got you covered. You gain access to 41 foreign languages from 33 native languages. So that's a total of 1,320 language combinations. Mondly also teaches you real practical phrases that you can use in day-to-day conversations, so it feels like you're actually learning something useful. Les singes sur la branche, ce n'est pas franchement une phrase utile, peu importe ce que dit ton prof de français. And as you might be thinking, well, who's got the time to learn a new language? Well, Mondly's hands-free feature allows you to learn a new language while you're doing the dishes, working out, or just running errands. And I think that's pretty cool. So don't wait, click on the link in the description below at mondly.app/chromamoma for 65% off lifetime access. That's right, lifetime access now. Learn practical language skills that you can use in real life, whether it's for travel or work, or you're just looking to challenge yourself. Thanks again to Mondly. Let's get back to the video.
Next up is Sketchfab. If you haven't heard of this, Sketchfab is a 3D model library/store. It's an online platform where 3D creators can upload and sell their 3D models to be used as game dev assets, animals, vehicles, architecture, and even human anatomy. You see where this is going, right? Where you can rotate, zoom in, and view these models from any angle.
This is an absolute game changer for artists who struggle with drawing stuff from different perspectives, or just a good way to develop a deeper understanding of the subject matter that you are studying.
Some of the models are free, so you can download them and use them outside of the limitations of the viewer on Sketchfab's website. If you import them into Blender, you can change the camera lens length, light it from different angles, and use that as reference in the same way you would a traditional maquette. It's just nice to have the ability to look at a piece of reference and think, oh, I wonder what the other side looks like, and then actually be able to rotate it around to look. It's not dissimilar to studying something from life because you can just look at it from different angles. And if you want to add more stuff to your visual library, learn how to draw more things, well, then this is a really good way to go about it. Most of us know about archive.org as the Wayback Machine, but besides being able to look at older versions of current and defunct websites, archive.org has a massive archive of images, books, audio, and video that can serve as a fantastic resource for reference. From vintage photographs to rare historical illustrations to old advertising posters, archive.org is a gold mine for anyone working on period pieces or needing some unusual, hard to find visual reference. One caveat is that it is a bit difficult to just browse for stuff on the website simply because of how large the database is. You kind of have to know what you're looking for, or at least have a general idea of what you want in order to get the most out of archive.org. Having said that, if the stuff you're looking for is really esoteric and or old, this site is your best bet. And on the topic of books and images, I'd like to give a quick shout out to the digital collections of the New York Public Library. They also have an insane online collection of printed material, posters, brochures, and maps. If you're into world building, the NYPL is a great resource for historical graphic design reference. Shotdeck is a treasure trove for filmmakers and visual artists alike. It's essentially a database of thousands of high-quality movie stills that are categorized by things like color palette, lighting, composition, and camera angle. I mean, the sorting options are really comprehensive, and I mean really comprehensive. I'll use Shotdeck when I'm trying to figure out a specific composition or lighting issues, especially when I'm working on storyboards or thumbnailing the composition for an illustration. Like, how do I frame two characters in a car at night and have the lighting be primarily red? Well, there you go. It's also a great discovery tool. I like sorting by random and discovering movies that I've never seen before. If there's a shot in particular that jumps out at me, I'll usually add that movie to the list of to watch movies and then proceed to forget about it and then watch Return of the King for the 20th time.
Carry the load, carry the load, the load, the load.
There are websites out there that also do screen caps of movies, you know the ones I'm talking about, but they're not as curated. It's usually just indiscriminate screenshots taken in 30-second intervals. Often with these pages, I find myself clicking through like 50 pages of screen caps before I find the right one. It's just a lot easier with Shotdeck. This is the only recommendation I have that is paid. I'm not sponsored, but I do think it's worth it.
Okay, so if you're looking for reference for real-world objects, mechanical components, medical equipment, clothing, furniture, satellites, well, chances are there's someone out there who's making these things and they're selling them. And chances are there's a sales catalog for it online. Congratulations, I've just given you access to the matrix.
Now these catalogs are filled with detailed images and descriptions for the references that you're looking for. Now imagine you're working on a steampunk project. There's a company out there that sells plumbing parts, and if you get their catalog, well, you now have a veritable cornucopia of references for steampunk pipes, bits, and bobbins. And here's the best part, you now have the name of the specific thing you want. Have you ever been in this situation where you're trying to look for a reference of something, you know what it is, you can see it in your head, but you just don't know what to type into the search bar? Well, a catalog gives you the exact descriptor of the thing, and oftentimes I'll go, wow, I didn't even know they had a name for these. Because I design mechs, I like looking at auto part catalogs, industrial pumps, aircraft instruments. If you want to be an expert on a subject matter, if you really want to dive deep into something, this is your starting point. And before you go, okay Ken, very funny, brochures for satellites. Now for the last 2 years, I've been working on a short film. It's a personal project and it's 2D animated. So I found this great website for references for 2D animation. It's called Sakugabooru. And if you're a person of culture, you already know what a Boru site is. And Sakugabooru is one of them. It's a site dedicated to collecting short animated clips from 2D animation, mostly anime, and it's a great resource for looking at specific types of animations. For example, running animations or magical effects or impact frames. Obviously, Obviously on the site, you can also search by anime or even by animator. Now what sets it apart is that you can watch the animation frame by frame to get a really good understanding of how the animation is made. I especially love looking at the gengas, which are key animations, sometimes drawn in pencil and paper. It's a good insight into the animation process, and I find I learned a lot more from looking at the work in progress drawings as opposed to the finished product. And even if you're not an animator, if you're simply a fan of the medium, I think Sakugabooru is still worth a look, and it's just fun to nerd out over. Last but not least, Flickr. You might think it's a place for casual photography, but there's so many dedicated groups and photographers on Flickr who share high quality, creative common images. It's a goldmine for reference material, everything from urban street photography to rural landscapes, from fashion shots to intricate close-up of objects. Lots of wildlife photographers also post their work on Flickr, so if you're a creature designer, you do not want to miss out on Flickr. And the photographers who use Flickr tend to be, and I say this with all the love in my heart, tend to be the sweatiest people. Like, they use Nikon cameras, and you know when someone shoots with a Nikon, they're sweaty about photography. So you can find high quality images on there, like 45 megapixel 15K images. And like I said, a lot of these images are public domain, so they're safe to use in creative projects. I get a lot of my image textures from Flickr for exactly this reason, on top of being very high res. I think websites for high quality references, they can help you expand your horizons and give you some more unique visual inspiration. So if you find these useful, if you've used any of these before, or if you have recommendations for more underrated websites like these, let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Bye. So about that short film I'm working on, if you're a fan of old school mech anime like Evangelion and Macross, I think you'll enjoy it. It's something I've been slowly making for the last couple of years. If you want a behind the scenes look at how the film is made, consider joining my Patreon. I'm constantly posting progress on the film, from concept art to storyboards to animations in progress. And if that sounds interesting to you, check it out in the link below.